It's a cold April afternoon here in Peabody, Massachusetts. I'm Bernard Parisi.
I'm Zach Stark.
And this game is brought to you by Peabody Access TV. Today's matchup will pit the Peabody Tanners against the Danvers Falcons. The Tanners won their first game on Monday 11-3 behind strong pitching and strong offense. Offense led by Jake Gustin and starter Alex D'Angelo and pitchers Eddie Campbell and Joe Zito. The Tanners looking to win their second in a row. It looks like starting behind the plate is Eric Tomato at first base. We'll have Trevor Lodi at short, Jake Gustin at third base, Cole Cuzzy on the mound, Alex D'Angelo, and in the outfield, right to left, that is Mike Martinez, Jake Irvine, and can't quite see who's in left field at the moment. I believe it is Brian Buckley, though I cannot be sure though. We'll be right back with Tanner Baseball here on Peabody Access TV in just a moment. So as players have their final conference with each other on the mound and in the outfield, at second base, I missed him earlier, that would be Joe Gilmartin. And Danvers will send number 3 to the plate. I don't have the Danvers roster with me at the moment. It appears to be a left-handed batter. As both coaches confer with the umpires, we are moments away from game time. As number 3 of Danvers steps to the plate, D'Angelo takes the mound. Number 2, we got the start on Monday. It's 4:00 p.m. It's 41 degrees. First pitch, and we are underway. Down low, strike one. Yes, he gets cheered on by his Peabody teammates on the infield and outfield. D'Angelo looks for the sign from DeMeo, gets it, goes into his wind. Down low, ball one. Count is 1-1. So D'Angelo, left-handed starter for the Tanners, a senior. He'll be graduating this upcoming summer in June. Pitch. Grounded foul down the line, down the first base line. So 1-2 count now in the first inning. D'Angelo would sure like to start off this game with a strikeout, set the tone for the rest of the game. Batter steps out for a moment. D'Angelo looks for a sign from DeMeo, also a fellow senior, number 44. Pitch. Down low, ball 2, 2-2. Looked like they were looking for a strike there. This field at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School just down below us. On the other field is boys lacrosse. Come check out their lacrosse games. They'll also be on Peabody Access TV. Pitch, down low, full count, 3-2. So this game will be eventually broadcast on Peabody TV, Channel 8 in Peabody, and also be on the PAT YouTube channel.
You can find that at Peabody TV on YouTube.
Hit him in the head. You
right
could hear
on
that
the
hit him in the helmet. He's down. And hopefully he is all right. You could hear that one.
Oh, you can see him.
Here.
Definitely seemed like it hurt.
Folks, that's something you just don't want to see. I'm sure it was not intentional, but especially only one batter into the game. We'll hold our breath here.
We're going to see how this goes, but it doesn't look that great.
We'll cut away for a moment here while they can check on the player. He is still down at the moment. We will cut away. We'll be right back on Peabody TV. Are you want to start? Are you recording?
I'm already recording, so you can just...
We welcome you back here on Peabody Access TV. Player number 3, he was down on the ground for a while, but he got up under his own power with assistance and made his way to the Danvers bench. We're back here, the number 2 hitter, conveniently also wearing number 2. Pitch in the dirt, ball 1. Pinch runner will be at first base for number 3 of the Falcons. That will be number 10 at first base. Appears his afternoon will be over. I would expect so after a hit like that.
You got to think a hit like that really has an effect on morale.
That's right, as a bunt will be called for a strike. It's 1-1. So this could either hit like that either will throw a team off its game or will help unify them for the remaining 8 innings.
We'll just have to see how that goes.
In the dirt he goes, throw down by DeMeo is in the dirt, and he dives in safely. So runner in scoring position with no one out, 2 balls and 1 strike. D'Angelo is in a bit of a jam right now, here in the top half of the first inning. Pitch will be lined foul over the home team's fan section. So count as 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 on at second, no one out. D'Angelo from the stretch. Ump calls time. Number 2, another left-handed hitter in this Danvers lineup. D'Angelo looks in the sign, checks the runner at second. Pitch, grounded to second. Gil Martin is there. Throw down to Lodi, got him easily, but that advances the runner to third. So off the bat to Gil Martin to Lodi. It was a slow grounder to second. Looks like it barely got out of the infield grass. So that'll send a right-handed hitter to the plate, the number 3 hitter. On deck is number 6, the cleanup man for Danvers. D'Angelo from the stretch. Swing and a miss. He took a hearty hack at that one. Strike 1. So my partner Zach here will provide commentary occasionally throughout the game. He's also doing camera work. From the stretch, grounded to short. Gustin digs it out, bobbles,
gets home.
Throw, and Danvers goes up 1-0 in the first. So that'll likely be charged as an error to Gustin. Gustin, one of the talented players of this Peabody team. He's going to be playing D1 baseball at Bryant University when he graduates this June. Number 4 hitter, the cleanup man, usually the spot reserved for one of the better hitters in the lineup. D'Angelo from the stretch. Ball 1 outside. It's number 18 at first. D'Angelo looking for the sign, shakes off DeMeo once, gets his pitch. Inside, strike 1. So it's a 1-1 count with 1 out here in the first. Danvers up 1-0. 18 takes his lead off of first. Pitch from D'Angelo. Strike 2. So 1-2 count. D'Angelo would like to get this one, try to settle down a little bit. The 1-run deficit to his credit so far. Time is called. Number 14 on deck for Danvers. Pitch. Strike him out. First strikeout of the afternoon for D'Angelo, so 2 down here in the first as 14 steps to the plate for Danvers, runner at first. 14, a right-handed hitter. Number 11 steps into the on-deck circle. Here's the pitch. Outside, ball 1. So we hope that number 3 of Danvers is all right. He's on the bench. Grounded. Fielded by D'Angelo, who will flip to Lodi, low throw, but that gets him out of the inning. So after a rather unfortunate start for Danvers, the pinch runner comes in for the Falcons, and they are up 1-0 going into the bottom half of the first inning. As the Tanners will come to the plate to take their first hacks at the ball. So we'll see number 8 of Danvers on the mound, another left-handed starter as well. So some local baseball news at the moment. The Red Sox on a 9-game win streak. They beat the hated rival New York Yankees 14-1 last night. Big grand slam by Mookie Betts. If you haven't seen it, you'll likely see it on your local sports highlights on your local news network.
Quite the game.
And Chris Sale picked up the win last night, I believe. Also, this Saturday will be Game 2 of the Boston Bruins first round playoff series versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. This game will be brought to you on NESN, New England Sports Network. Game is at TD Garden. The Bruins will play Game 1. Well, by the time this game has been broadcast on TV and also online, Game 1 will have been finished. So Game 2 versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, a quarterfinal rematch of the 2013 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. If you remember that series went 7 games, the Bruins won it on a 4-goal comeback in Game 7 as the Tanners send their first batter to the plate. It appears it will be third baseman Cole Cuzzy, a senior, will graduate this June, getting cheered on by his teammates. Pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Good pitch. This pitcher looks like he starts from the stretch instead of the windup. Cuzzy leading it off. He is a good baseball player. I've seen him play over the years. So take my word for it there, folks. Takes the ball. 1-1. Cuzzy, a right-handed batter. Pitch.
Grounded.
To the second baseman, number 2. Easy flip to first for the out. So Cuzzy drives it to the opposite side of the infield. So 1 out here in the bottom half of the first inning. They will send number 4, Trevor Lodi, to the plate. Nope, I apologize. That is Jake Irvine. My mistake. Trevor Lodi is number 10. He was getting the start at first base. So Lodi, the center fielder. I mean, Irvine. So sorry, folks. Grounded to short.
Towards short.
Bad hop, he can't get it away, and Irvine is on with an infield single. And they will send Jake Gustin to the plate.
First man
Gustin
on base
is
here
one
for
of the more
Peabody
feared
today.
hitters in this lineup. As I mentioned earlier, Gustin will be attending Bryant University this upcoming fall on a baseball scholarship. Gustin, a left-handed batter, number 7. Throw over. Irvine scampers back to first. Gustin would sure like to hit one into the outfield here. Pitch up, throw over, and Irvine gets back. So they're not taking any chances with Irvine at first. They're keeping a close watch on him. Here's the pitch. Grounded foul down the first base line. So the count is 0-1 to Guston.
You can see the pitcher keeping his eyes on Irvine.
Because Irvine could run at any moment. Pitch. Takes the ball. 1-1 count. High hopes for this Tanner's baseball team coming to this year. They won 11-3 in their opener on the road. They had a Guston home run and they had 13 strikeouts combined between Alex D'Angelo, Joe Zito, and Eddie Campbell. So still a 1-1 count. They're not taking any chances with Irvine at first. Irvine takes his lead. Will throw over again. Getting jeered by the Tanner bench is number 8 on the mound.
Absolutely taking no chances at first.
They don't want to take any chances. Pitch. Up high, 2-1. So 2-1 count with only 1 out. Runner at first. Pitch.
Grounded
to the
towards second.
Baseman. Looks to second. Won't get a play there, but he'll get Guston at first, but the runner advances. So we have 2 out now. Stepping to the plate is 17, second baseman Joe Gilmartin. Not sure what year Gilmartin is in high school. He is a right-handed batter coming up to the plate.
Gilmartin is a junior.
Thank you, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have a second announcer for baseball, folks. Pitch.
Always happy to help.
And it will be called strike. Steps off, the pitcher steps off the rubber, and Irvine scampers back to second.
Still keeping his eyes on Irvine. Goes in for the pitch.
Takes the ball down low. So it's 1-1 the count. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out here in the bottom half of the first inning. 1-0 Danvers lead. Takes a look at Irvine, pitch to Gilmartin. Nice hack! He was swinging for the fences there, but he could not connect. Strike 2. So 1-2 count here to Gilmartin in the bottom of the first. Pitch. Up high, ball 2. 2-2. Good eye by Gilmartin there. The pitch was up high. Pitch, up high, ball 3, 3-2, full count. This in baseball is the ultimate scenario. Full count, 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Danvers is hoping to draw this home right now.
Biggest pitch of the inning coming up.
Grounded to first. Misses to first. Peabody. Irvine gets home.
Irvine to the plate. Peabody has tied it up on a freak bounce there. So Gilmartin is on at first. That ball dribbled down the first base line, just hit the bag. First baseman couldn't keep track of it. And Irvine came home from second. So that'll be Eric DeMayo, number 44, senior catcher for the Tanners. DeMayo will also be attending college on a football scholarship, a star back for the Peabody Tanners football team. Throw over to first is in the dirt. Collected by number 18 at first. Pitch to DeMayo, crowding the plate. Foul tipped off the end of his bat, strike one. It's about 41 degrees here in Peabody, Mass. It's a cold afternoon for baseball.
Chilling wind.
Sure, we could live without the wind. And cold isn't what bothers you. It's the wind that gets to you after a while. As DeMayo takes a ball down low, 1-1. Don't know if the wind will have any effect on any balls going to the outfield today. Wind is blowing in our direction, which means it is blowing out to right field. Wind coming in from left center. 2-1 count to DeMayo. Runner goes. Throw down. Diving in. High throw. Wouldn't even have had a chance to apply the tag. Gil Martin takes second easily.
Danvers certain to watch him closer now.
That Tanner bench is really getting into it. You can hear the chant, "I love free stuff." Meaning he took that, he basically stole that base without any trouble whatsoever. DeMayo up. 3-1 count. Down low, he walked him. So the Tanners will...
DeMayo happily taking that walk to first.
DeMayo at first. That, and stepping to the plate is number 16, Eddie Campbell. Campbell is a junior. Will likely be Cuzzy's successor at third. If I'm correct in warm-ups, he was taking warm-ups at third base with Cole Cuzzy, number 22. So one would assume upon the former's graduation, he will take over at third. Inside, ball 2-0. So first and second, 2 out, 2-0 count to Campbell. Campbell would like to get one into a gap and maybe play both runners if he's lucky. One well-placed hit could put the Tanners in the lead. This one's grounded to short. He'll simply flip it to second.
Easy out.
No, he knows it, and that ends the inning with the Tanners come back to tie it on a wild hop on a hit by Joe Gilmartin. As Irvine is the only run of the inning, we go to the top half of the second inning. 1-1 game. Danvers coming up.
Entering the second inning now, about a half an hour into the game. Some time taken off there for the injury early on.
We hope he's doing all right. He looks like he's chatting with a fan down on the bench. He had to get up with assistance. He was laying on the ground, not moving for a while.
Holding his head as he walked back. May have been a head injury, but there's no way to be sure.
Well, that ball did hit him in the helmet. I wouldn't be surprised if that's at least a concussion. I'm guessing he'll be on the bench for a couple games just to recuperate from that hit. Once again, folks, I'm almost sure it was not intentional whatsoever. It's just the wind may have taken that one. Wind could be a factor in this game.
Hard to compete when the wind is this strong.
It's rather unusual for April day, especially when most expected it to be rather sunny and warm right now. We've had snow recently also. So you're witnessing possibly some of the future stars of the game taking the diamond here in Peabody, Massachusetts. Just down below us also is boys lacrosse. Get the sense that the Tanners are doing pretty well. I've heard them celebrating quite often in this so far. So this game will be on the Peabody TV YouTube channel. While you're there, also check out recently a documentary made about the 2017-18 Tanner girls ice hockey team, a team that in the last 18 months has risen from almost losing their program altogether to now a tournament contending team. They lost in the first round of their tournament, but check out the documentary. Featuring interviews with several players and the coach of the team, Michelle Roche. Heck of a season, girls. Shame it had to end the way it did. As first pitch, ball one down low. Once again, check out Peabody Tanner girls ice hockey documentary. It's about an 11-minute documentary on YouTube, recounting the entire season. As the pitch comes, that is a line shot into center. Irvine barely has to move. 1 out.
On Peabody TV's YouTube, you'll also find other local sports games, musical performances, and other important information regarding the city of Peabody.
Important information including school committee meetings, town hall meetings, Mayor Ted Betancourt meetings with him, as this pitch is in for strike one with 1 out.
A lot of PSAs with the local police department as well.
Pitch will be fouled way
Wide
out of play.
pop up back.
It's a tree and comes down.
Tossed back in by a fan.
It is now 0-2 the count with 1 out here in the second inning. Pitch, foul. Looks like that may have hit the batter as he went out of the batter's box. But in any event, it's still an 0-2 count here. It's good to see so many parents and fans out supporting their sons, brothers, or just friends here to support their local team.
Especially considering how cold it is today.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. The good residents of Peabody and Danvers coming out to support their local teams despite the cold weather. As 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him.
That's 2 outs now here in the top of the second inning.
2 down after a strikeout to number 4 of Danvers. D'Angelo looks to be settling into a groove. 2 up, 2 down quickly. Number 7 of Danvers steps to the plate, another right-handed batter. I don't know about you, Zach, but after this game, I'm probably going to be fleeing to a Dunkin' Donuts to get myself a nice hot coffee after this. My hands are almost frozen to the microphone.
Oh, absolutely.
So, 1-0 pitch, popped up near our general direction over our head, and comes down about 10 feet away from us in the bushes. Reminder, folks, we are not up in a booth like you see at Fenway Park, so we are right in a position where that ball could come in our direction at any time.
Right about parallel to first base.
Strike 2. So D'Angelo would like to have a quick 1-2-3 inning here. So 1-2 pitch, 2 outs, 1-1 game in the top of the second. Grounded to second. Easy play onto Lodi, and the top half of the inning is over.
Absolutely no progress by Danvers this inning.
So quick 1-2-3 inning for the Tanners. 3 up, 3 down. And we will go to the bottom half of the second as the Tanners will come to bat. So folks, hopefully tune in soon. Listen to the Red Sox Yankees tonight. I just realized this game will not be on tonight, so tune in to see your local Boston Red Sox. They'll on NESN, New England Sports Network, most TVs. It is channel 51. Also, welcome back to the booth, Red Sox color commentator Jerry Remy. He has been out receiving chemotherapy and radiation treatments for cancer that has come back. We happy to see him back in the booth. All I can say is the Red Sox games really aren't the same without him in the booth with Tom O'Brien. So it appears leading off for the Tanners in this half of the inning will be the first baseman, number 10, Trevor Lodi. Lodi is also a senior. Most of this team is composed of seniors who will be graduating soon. So there will be some holes in this roster to fill, but it looks like, however, in warm-ups, they're going to have some talent to fill. Looks like Mike Tansey will take over at first. Eddie Campbell will take over for Cole Cuzzy at third. But players like Cuzzy, Lodi, Jake Irvine, Mike Martinez, Eric DeMeo, Evan Mullen, Alex D'Angelo, they'll all be leaving this upcoming summer to attend college. I believe Evan Mullen will be attending Merrimack University with myself included. As Lodi leads it off, right-handed batter takes the ball down low. So Evan is in fact going to Merrimack College. Maybe he'll continue his baseball career there. We wish him the best of luck. Wish all of the Tanners leaving this summer best of luck in their college, in their 4 years at college. As Lodi takes a strike, so it's a 1-1 count. Bottom half leading off. Swung on a miss, strike 2.
1 and 2 now.
So I had a chance to meet with Trevor Lodi today. Usually spend our lunch periods in one of our teachers' classrooms, as he included. He was very excited for this game coming up. It was their home opener of his senior year. Pitch will take it down low, strike 3, dropped, but he'll tag him out. So they'll mark that as a strikeout. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. So stepping to the plate is number 6 of the Tanners, I believe. That is Evan Mullen. Mullen, also senior, fouls one back behind the plate. That cleared the trees behind us. Looks like it went into a parking lot behind the field. This pitcher steps off the rubber. Mullen, a right-handed batter. Down low, ball 1. So 1-1 count to Evan Mullen. So 2018 MLB regular season is underway at the moment. The Boston Red Sox, your local team, is 9-1. Beat the Yankees 14-1 last night. Pitch, grounded in front of the plate. Pitcher has it, fires on
Easy to first.
To the out. So 2 down here in the bottom half of the second. So number 8, Mike Martinez, another senior, stepping to the plate, the right fielder for the Tanners. So Mike Martinez, right-handed right fielder, popped up
High,
first
runs
baseman
to
appears to have it.
first.
He calls for it, and the inning is over. So 1 pitch, and he got him. So we go to the top half of the 3rd inning. Still a 1-1 game. Both teams' pitchers look like they're settling into grooves. Number 8 of Danvers is relying on his defense behind him, and D'Angelo looks like he picked up a strikeout last inning. Looks like he's starting to settle into his own little groove. He'll be out for the 3rd inning. believe I heard from a player in school, although I could be mistaken, that D'Angelo only pitched 2 innings in his first start. He might I believe I heard he has a weekly pitch and an inning limit upon him, which will likely mean that coach of the Tanners trusts his bullpen and his relief pitchers enough to come in and seal the game for him. So D'Angelo taking his final warm-up pitches, as Danvers will send their first batter to the plate of the 3rd inning. Will be number 1 for Danvers. Appears to be a right-handed batter, taking his swings in the on-deck circle. So it looks like the injured player for Danvers is all right. He's conferring with some of his teammates at the moment. Glad to see that he's all right, folks. It's not something you ever really want to see. In sports, you never want to see a player get hurt. We want to see the game, and when a player gets hurt, it just gives you a sick feeling to your stomach. But luckily, he appears to be all right. He's sitting on the bench. He's talking with his teammates, and hopefully he'll be back soon on the playing field. So number 1 of Danvers up, D'Angelo from the windup. Down low, ball 1. So the Danvers bench is starting to get into this one, trying to counter the enthusiasm of the Tanner bench. Down
low again.
2. Danvers and Peabody, they have a history in athletics this year. They played I believe they played a week 2 game in football. They played a week 2 game. Danvers took that game 7-0 on a late touchdown. Tanner offense just couldn't get anything going. Their run-heavy offense couldn't get past the Danvers defense. Showing bunt, pulls it back in time though. That will be a 3-0 count. D'Angelo from the windup.
First.
They teach you in baseball, when you have a 3-0 count or a 3-1 count and you do not swing, because likely it will not be a strike. Plus you've got some breathing room as he takes a strike. Takes strike 2.
2nd strike. Looks like he's certainly trying to hold out for a walk to first. Not really swinging.
Some teams like to play the small ball approach. They don't like to swing for the fences. They like to get on base any way they can, whether it be by singles or by walks. They want to show, looks like Danvers right now is showing incredible patience at the plate. Grounded to first.
And that's going to be an out.
So easy play by Trevor Lodi. So the wind is starting to pick up here. It's blowing right at us. I doubt we'll see many long balls so far. We've only really seen 1 ball go into the outfield. It was a line drive out to Jake Irvine in center field.
Easy strike, right in the middle of the box.
Of course, you'd like to see some long balls. This is a game where people like to see the home runs. This game is about the long ball these days. I believe, if I remember correctly, in this past World Series in 2017 between the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers, there were about maybe a combined 20 home runs for many MLB players. That is a season as he grounds to Cuzzy. Cuzzy digs it out, throws to Lodi, he got him. So 2 outs in the top of the 3rd, 2 up, 2 down. So as I was saying before, it looks usually in the World Series in 2017 there were at least 20 home runs between the 2 teams for many MLB players. That is a season. For some players, unfortunately, it's also a career for them. As number 2 of Danvers steps in.
Ground. Second. Easy to first. Ends the first half of the 3rd inning.
That will be the end of the top half of the 3rd. Gil Martin, easy throw, 3 groundouts, 3 outs. Tanner's coming up again. So folks, Red Sox-Yankees rivalry has been reignited. Two rookie managers in their first ever managerial positions, Alex Cora and Aaron Boone. The Bronx Bombers lineup put the Bomber back in the lineup. They have not only Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, they just acquired Giancarlo Stanton from the Miami Marlins. So you'll see plenty of long balls this season coming out of the Bronx. The Red Sox will be relying on their pitching and an improved offense this year. Players like Mookie Betts, Xander Bogaerts, Hanley Ramirez, and newly acquired slugger J.D. Martinez to keep the rivalry brewing. Sox Yankees will be playing next couple nights.
Smile for the camera as we walk by.
There's a couple fans walk by. If you guys want to wave at the camera, wave hi.
Go Danvers!
Like we said earlier, folks, it's always great to see the enthusiastic fans come out to support their local teams despite the cold weather.
Coming from both sides, Peabody and Danvers fans here today.
Both fan sections. Looks like they're filled. They got the bleachers out for the Peabody fans, and on the left, over here on the right side of the infield, all the Danvers fans brought the folding chairs out. They got the blankets, the thick jackets. They're here to support their local team. That is commitment right there, folks. As it appears to be Cole Cuzzy, the leadoff hitter. They've batted around here in the bottom half of the third inning. Cuzzy would like to avenge his earlier out.
With the pitch.
Heads up.
Hit me in the shin, but that doesn't matter.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You okay?
Yeah. Right at us. I guess that's what happens when you stand right outside the foul
Well,
zone.
folks, we are right in the danger zone right here. We're just outside the protection, it appears, of the Danvers bench fence. I'm sure I have fourth period with Cole every day, so I'll let him know tomorrow that his line drive almost took out my cameraman.
It might bruise, but it's nothing more than that.
So that's commitment right there, folks. Takes it in the shin, and he just keeps on trucking. Wouldn't be surprised if I take one to the body pretty soon, as Cuzzy takes a ball up high, 2-1. Here's the pitch up high, 3-1. So Cuzzy would like to get on base here. He can run. Takes a strike down low, 3-2, full count. Tanner Bench is really getting into this one. That is a line shot into center. Come in and get it.
Oh, just misses.
Cuzzy digging for two.
Cuzzy to second, just in time.
Cuzzy popped up on that one, and the diving effort by the center fielder, number 6, came up short. As Jake Gustin steps to the plate, Cuzzy, while we were trying to fix our camera, Cuzzy on an infield single, was a dribbler right in front of the mound. Irvine reached it first. The throw to third. The throw to third was not in time, as Cuzzy dove in easily. As the Danvers coach goes out for a conference on the mound with his pitcher, as that pitch was up high, almost over Jake Gustin's head. Just trying to calm his pitcher down. The ball count is 1-0.
I wonder how much longer the battery's going to hold out.
So if our camera, if it does cut away on folks, just know that our battery must have died. Our boss will be running a battery over as quick as he can. Should be about a 10-minute drive, just about. So at the moment is 1 ball, no strikes, 1-1 here in the bottom half of the third inning. Gustin up.
If the battery does go out, we'll be sure to update you with any changes once we get the battery going again.
Well, Hopefully we have enough battery, maybe to catch perhaps some slick defense or some explosive offense out of the Tanners or the Falcons. Gustin, left-handed batter. Runners at the corners with no one out. Down low. 2-0.
Claire on third, getting ready to run home whenever he gets the opportunity.
Kelsey would like to run here. You hear the Peabody bench really getting into it. Takes a strike. 2-1. So we've got more and more fans showing up every second. Some fans down the right field line, some fans up here behind the Danvers bench, and the fan section over in the Peabody side is full. Nice pitch. Might have been an off-speed pitch there as Gustin looks at strike 2. 2-2.
Our battery wall showing low battery certainly is holding out here. Getting you as much baseball as we can.
Up high, 3-2. So folks, once again, we apologize if our camera cuts away all of a sudden or unexpectedly. Our boss, Gus Margota, head of the sports, Peabody Access TV, is running over a fresh battery for us that will hopefully get us through to the 9th inning. Gustin, a left-handed batter, so that ball could fly in our direction. That hit him, so 3 high pitches.
Runs
that hit
to
him up high.
first, well, rather walks.
So bases are loaded with
Full house for Peabody.
no one out. So as Zach just said, it's a full house on base with no one out.
This is the prime position Peabody wants to be in right now,
So
early in the game.
So Gil Martin coming up. He drove in the first Peabody run. So at the moment,
Peabody's bench absolutely getting into it.
with no one out, it's a full house, and Gil Martin holds all the cards right now.
This would certainly be a bad time for our batter to cut out.
If this battery dies right now, folks, I am very, very sorry. This could be a make or break point.
Grounded to first.
They get the force at the plate, but the bases are still loaded with one out. As they get the force on Cuzzy at the plate, Eric DeMayo coming up. Big right-handed batter. Has some power to his bat. So our boss, Gus Margota, should be here just in a few moments. Haven't seen him yet, but once again, apologize if the camera cuts to black on you. Here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning with one out, DeMayo up. Fouls one off the end of his bat to the backstop. Strike 1. As folks, if you remember correctly, I was the announcer for most of the Peabody Tanner girls ice hockey home games, including one of their tournament games for St. Mary's.
Here's the pitch.
Line shot in a left, that'll
Way out. That's 1 home for Peabody.
Irvine comes home. Gustin will come racing
2 home for Peabody.
3-1 Tanners in the bottom of the 3rd. DeMayo delivers for Peabody.
That puts the score 3-1 Peabody.
Bottom half of the 3rd. Nice hit by DeMayo off the end of his bat in the left. Now coming up is Eddie Campbell, junior 3rd baseman.
Again, we're only at 1 out here, so this is a good position still for Peabody.
So we have DeMayo at first, Gil Martin at second. Campbell takes a strike down low. takes it down low. Ball one. Runners scamper back to their respective bases.
The pitch.
Nice hack by Campbell, number 16, strike two.
That was a ball. Marked as a ball.
What?
That was counted as a ball.
Oh, it was counted as a ball? Thank you, Zach, for catching on what I missed by accident. I apologize, folks. So, as Campbell grounds out, they get the force at first, but the runners are both runners in scoring position now with 2 out. Lodi will come to the plate with a 3-1 lead. Good chance here to make it, to extend this lead for the Tanners with both runners in scoring position at second and third. Pitcher would like to get out of this inning. It's not been the best of innings for him so far. He's given up 2 runs. He hit a batter. Might have hit Gustin in the head. Pitch takes a ball. 1 out count to Trevor Lodi. Pitch to Lodi. Nice pitch down the middle, strike one.
1-1 count. Quite the inning for Peabody so far. Certainly looking to score again.
Nice hack. He was swinging for the fences. Strike
1-2.
two. Pitch. Inside. Ball 2. 2-2 count. Looking for some 2-2 hacks right here from Lodi. Second and third with 2 out. Line shot up the middle, base hit.
That's
score.
one.
Martin DeMeo chugging around. Throw.
2 for Peabody.
They got him at the plate.
Oh, never mind.
But it's still
Still a score for
game
Peabody.
going into the top of the 4th inning. So Lodi drives a run across.
Peabody with quite the productive inning right there.
So 4-1 game. Now D'Angelo has a lead to work with going into the 4th inning.
First score there since the first inning, and it was for Peabody.
That is correct. Both teams tacked on a run here in the 1st inning. As we go to the top half of the 4th, 4-1, I believe D'Angelo will return to the mound for another inning of work. So our camera battery is still going, folks.
Still flashing low, though. The other one cut out, so we're just hoping to get by with this one as long as we can.
So hopefully Gus will be here soon with our new battery for our camera. And if it cuts away, at the moment, we're in the top half of the 4th inning. 4-1 Peabody lead. So as we enter the top half of the 4th, Danvers sending number 18, their first baseman, to the plate. D'Angelo returns to the mound for his 4th inning of work. Looks like up in the bullpen section, looks like they have Eddie Campbell getting ready for Peabody. junior, number 16. He pitched in their first game of the year. Not sure how he did, but he must have tacked into that 13 strikeout total that I heard that the Tanners picked up in that opening day game. It was an 11-3 win, 13 Ks overall by Peabody pitchers. Campbell, a right-handed junior, number 16. So right-handed number 18 for Danvers, their first baseman. So Danvers would like to try to get back in this one. It's a 4-1 deficit for him so far.
Starting inning with the pitch.
Little shot. Cuzzy digs it out, fires across. He got him. Great defensive play by Cole Cuzzy over at third. Ball wasn't even in front of him. It was to his left. He's just stuck his glove out and managed to get good fire down to Lodi at first for the out. Number 6 of Danvers to the plate. Ball bounces in the dirt. Ball 1. So Campbell is still getting ready. You can assume that after this inning, you'll likely see him go to the mound in the 5th inning if D'Angelo can get out of this inning unscathed. Takes a ball, about chest high inside.
Pitches just high.
D'Angelo looks for a sign from DeMeo, gets it. Down low, ball 3-0. With 1 out, 3-0 count to number 6 of Danvers.
Danvers looking at the potential to walk their first man this inning.
Let's go, Eddie!
Strike 1, down the middle.
Count is 3-1.
Like I said earlier, they teach you in baseball when you got a 3-0 count against you, take the 4th pitch. Don't swing. Chances are it might be a ball. Be a shame because it's always embarrassing when you get a 3-0 pitch, you swing and you pop out or you ground out. It's always something you don't want to happen when you could have gotten on base. Grounded. Gil Martin at second to get it. Over to Lodi, he got him.
Quick out. That's 2 outs now.
So 2 up, 2 down so far for Danvers. Number 14 will step to the plate. So notice on most of the Danvers players, the bleached blonde hair. A lot of teams in most sports, they'll do something to as a team bonding.
To kick off the season.
To kick off the season, correct. So I remember a couple of years ago, I believe, the boys lacrosse team, they all gave each other haircuts and some rather unusual designs. I believe on a friend of mine, they just basically, someone held his hand to his head and they just shaved around his head, so he had a handprint-shaped haircut on his head as that ball goes over our head, and we have to duck out of the way of that one. So as I was saying before, most teams to kick off a season, it's usually a team bonding experience.
Come on, 1-4! Go, Dick!
Though rather unusual for some people, you know what? If it brings a team together, Godspeed, folks. So the 1-2 pitch from D'Angelo.
Grounded.
To short. Gustin from deep short fires.
3 outs.
1-2
Quick inning.
That might be the last you see of D'Angelo so far. They had Campbell getting ready. So if the Tanner offense can keep them in the lead, D'Angelo is on the stat sheet for a win.
Peabody coming up now after a powerful 3rd inning.
Bottom half of the 4th. They tacked on 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. So the Tanners will send I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure who will be going to the plate, actually. We will see in just a moment. So now you see number 17, that is Joe Gilmartin getting ready in the pen for the Tanners. So Gilmartin also doubling as the second baseman, getting warmed up for Peabody. I believe, actually, if I'm not mistaken, he actually did pitch in that first game versus, I believe it was either Revere or they may have played Danvers on the road, I'm not sure. But I believe it was a typical pitching rotation for Peabody of D'Angelo, Campbell, Zito, and Joe Zito and Gilmartin. Joe Zito, I haven't mentioned before, he's a junior for the Tanners. If you go to Peabody High School, you'll probably know him for some of his videos that air on the school's closed circuit news net, school morning news network. He's quite the personality. All I can say is he's one of the nicer guys I've ever met. He's always willing to do anything for a laugh. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him late in the game. He's a left-handed pitcher. Grounded to third. Dug out.
Quick to first.
Mullen can't get to the bag in time. So it's 1 up, 1 down on 1 pitch. So Mike Martinez, the right fielder, stepping to the plate. Martinez is quite an interesting personality. I have him for 2nd and 6th period at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. He's one of the funnier jokesters in the school of the senior class of 2018. Up high, ball 1. Right-handed batter, right fielder. Takes a ball outside, 2-0. So our camera is still rolling, folks, even though the battery is still showing that it is almost dead. We're still waiting for a new battery to arrive. Should be here any moment, hopefully. Hardy cut by Martinez, strike 1. 2-1 pitch to Martinez. Chop to third, into his chest, throws on, he gets the out. So the third baseman has been responsible for both outs on this inning on ground outs by Evan Mullen and Mike Martinez. That will send the leadoff man, Cole Cuzzy, to the plate. Cuzzy reached earlier in the game, scored a run. Takes a strike outside. So it was a low and outside, but it was called a strike by the home plate umpire. Pitch to Cuzzy. Down low in the dirt before it even gets to the plate. Ball 1.
1-1 count.
Let's check out this game will be eventually broadcast on local channel 8 on the Peabody TV YouTube channel as the pitch to Cuzzy. Little soft liner into center to the center fielder, inning over. So we go to the top of the 5th.
What are you doing in it?
So the top half of the 5th comes around. Tanner's still holding their 4-1 lead as going to the mound. D'Angelo will go back out for the 5th inning. So D'Angelo is back out for the 5th inning for the Peabody Tanners, number 2. He gave up 1 run in the first on the pinch runner for the injured batter. I don't see him on the bench, so he must be up and moving, talking with some of his teammates, so he appears to be all right at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised, however, he might have a concussion. However, he'll probably be, as a precaution, even if he doesn't, as a precaution, the Danvers coach will probably let him sit down for a game or so. Just as a precaution. I'm glad to see he's up and moving, he's all right. And hopefully he'll be able to return quickly this season. As infielders take their final warm-ups, number 11 will come to the plate for Danvers. As infielders confer on the mound for one last word before they take the field. 11, a right-handed batter on deck for Danvers, is number 6, I believe, or number 4 actually. And number 7 will be up behind him. So 11, 4, and 7 will take the plate today in the top half of the 5th inning. 4-1 Tanners. Looking for the sign is D'Angelo from DeMayo. Pitch from D'Angelo. Ooh, that
bounces to hit.
Hits the ground.
That walks him to first.
Up. It bounced in the grass before it got to the mound. It bounced up and it hit the batter. They're awarding him the base. I gotta say, folks, I've never seen something like that happen before, where a ball hits the ground before it gets to the dirt in front of the plate, and it bounces up and hits the batter. They award him with the base. Rather unusual event there, as 11 takes the lead. Ball gets away from DeMayo. 11 will just go into second, standing up. So, folks, our batter is still holding strong at the moment. If it cuts to black, at the moment it is 1 ball, no strikes, no one out, 1 on at second in scoring position. So D'Angelo already in a slight jam.
The pitch.
Takes a nice fastball for a strike. D'Angelo throws a hard fastball. We've seen him mix in some of his off-speed stuff so far this game.
It's a 1-1 count so far.
Up high, 2-1. You can see the frustration from the Danvers batter. He wants that ball in the strike zone that he can drive it and hopefully bring in the run. Here's the pitch from D'Angelo. Guts back, throw back to second. Gil Martin will not even try to apply the tag. The runner was already back. So Gil Martin at second, Gustin at short, Cuzzy at third, and Lodi at first.
Runner at second already looking to run for third.
Strike 2. And left to right in the outfield, I forget, is Evan Mullen, Jake Irvine, and Mike Martinez. Designated hitter, I believe, is Eddie Campbell. We haven't seen him in the field to play at all today. Right down the middle, struck him out, 1 away. Got him looking. So 1 out, runner at second. So might hear some trash talk between the two benches right now. So DeMayo will have to confer with D'Angelo, just calm him down a little bit, let him know, hey, you got a runner at second, but still, you got 1 out. Got number 7 at the plate. And got a good, solid defense behind you to back you up. D'Angelo from the set. Down low in the dirt, but DeMayo blocks it down. So the wind is now starting to blow a little bit faster. from left field. Pitch from D'Angelo's up high, 2-0. So if I were the coach of the Tanners, I would maybe consider getting Campbell or Zito ready. Gil Martin's in the field to play right now. So I would consider perhaps getting Campbell warmed up. Popped up. Out behind us. That made its way through the tree somehow. I don't know how that didn't hit a tree branch, because that went pretty far, folks, right over our heads here in this area where we're filming from. It looks like a Peabody player will go back into the trees to get it. Wish them luck finding it. I can't even see where it went. So 2-1 pitch. Off the batter, down the line, it will go foul and stay foul. Looks like D'Angelo just brushing some dirt out of his eyes. Looks like he might have been kicked up by the runner. I got some dirt in his mouth also. Might have, looks like just some dust kicked up by the runner. So D'Angelo, real trooper, going back to the mound. 2-2 count with 1 out in the top of the 5th, runner at second. 4-1 lead for the Tanners, so he has a bit of a cushion so far.
With the pitch.
With some aggression here. Inside, full count.
Really worth mentioning how impressive it is that the players are still performing the way they are, despite how cold it is today.
Yeah, you gotta admit, I'm guessing hitting a ball with such force and with a metal bat, and I've noticed some of these players are playing without batting gloves on, and this cold, you can only imagine how that feels. So that's just a tribute to 18 years of playing this game, as this one's lined. Gil Martin can't dig it out. Runner holds at the corners. Gil Martin stopped that one from going in the outfield, or else we'd probably be looking at a 4-2 game.
Danvers looking to bring things a little bit closer here.
There somewhere. So I apologize, you sir. Yeah, it looks like some of the Peabody players were looking for that foul ball that went out earlier. I was just directing them to approximately where it went. As they will go confer at the mound, he might be making a change.
Peabody may be looking to bring D'Angelo in now after a slightly aggressive 5th inning.
So we're seeing some challenge coming from the Danvers Falcons with 1 out. They're conferring. Gotta guess with a meeting of this length, I'm guessing it's just conferring with D'Angelo at the moment. And eventually they will probably bring Campbell in. We saw him warming up earlier in this game. As we now have a new battery delivered to us, so we're gonna cut away for just a quick moment while we replace it. 4-1 Tanner lead. Recording again?
All right, we're back with a full battery.
We finally have a full battery here. Folks, unfortunately, you missed a quick thing. A deep fly ball to left field played at a run for Danvers. So it's now a 4-2 game. Looks like the left fielder, Mullen, went back as far as he could, just out of the outer reach of his glove. So we have 1 strike count with 1 out, 4-2 Tanner's lead. D'Angelo looks in for the sign.
With the pitch.
Good, hearty hack at that one. Strike two. So here's the pitch from D'Angelo. Trying to square it. DeMeo couldn't get it in the strike zone, though. It is going to be 1 ball, 2 strikes. D'Angelo from the
With the pitch.
windup pitches. Swung on and missed. He got him.
Runner runs for it, not even realizing at first it wasn't out. I suppose that happens sometime.
So with 2 outs,
Danvers is certainly hoping to make some kind of progress here.
D'Angelo looking for it in the dirt. Gets
Real
away.
low. Danvers with a runner on third.
So with a 1-0 count with 2 outs, number 2 of Danvers at the plate. So the runners get back as DeMeo goes out to talk it over with D'Angelo with a 1-0 count. So we're at the John E. Bazamis baseball diamond here at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. Down below us, boys lacrosse is in full swing at the moment. Came in, we had a track meet also.
D'Angelo with the pitch.
Couldn't quite get it in the zone. Ball 2. 2-0 count. It's the number 2 of Danvers. With 2 outs. Pitch from D'Angelo up high, 3-0.
Danvers might be looking to get a walk here and build up a full house.
Walk here and the bases will be loaded for number 18, big first baseman, the number 3 hitter of Danvers. Could be dangerous here for Peabody with holding a 4-2 lead. That cushion that D'Angelo had is just now starting to give way. Up high, bases loaded for number 18, the first baseman.
2 outs though, so this still is a tricky situation for Danvers.
This could be the make or break inning, so right here, bases loaded. Chance to tie it or take the lead here.
The Danvers bench absolutely excited, definitely showing it.
Coach calls time, and he is signaling for a change. As that will be the end of the night for D'Angelo. They are bringing in Joe Gilmartin, the second baseman, I believe.
Peabody recognizes the importance of what's going on right here and need to bring in a new pitcher to make sure things go well.
So Gilmartin will go to the mound. D'Angelo leaves with a 4-2 lead. So if he gets out of this inning, he'll still be in line for the win if Peabody can hold the lead.
You can tell Danvers really knows what this means. Their bench is getting real rowdy, definitely getting into it. Seeing an opportunity here to either tie the game or bring themselves past Peabody here in the 5th inning.
It looks like with the pitching change, looks like Peabody's going to make a couple of quick defensive realignments. Cole Cuzzy will move from 3rd to 2nd, and Eddie Campbell will come into the game and play 3rd. Right-handed pitcher, Gilmartin.
This wind really is bringing people all around the edge of the field here to different places, trying to get out of the wind.
I'm over here standing behind a tree trying to get out of the wind back here, trying to stay also with a good view of the playing field. We've seen the hoods, we've seen the blankets, we've seen everything that fans can use to try to keep warm and out of the wind here in Peabody, Massachusetts.
Certainly doesn't feel like a mid-April game.
April in the spring. I thought the cold was over, folks. Apparently I was wrong. Won't be surprised if I wake up tomorrow and I don't go to school because I have a cold after this game. I don't know how some of the players are playing out there. They're playing in short sleeves. I think I saw a couple guys playing in no sleeves. DeMeo behind the plate. He's got no sleeves on right now. I don't know how they do it. Then again, I'm surprised I'm not accustomed to this cold. I spent months calling hockey games indoors on a sheet of ice. So how I'm freezing right now is beyond me.
I think it might be the wind. The wind's really what makes the difference between an indoor hockey game and a game like this, where the wind is really just slicing through your layers of clothing.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Sometimes it's just the breeze that gets to you. It's not necessarily the cold.
And I really can't stress enough, this wind is brutal here today, folks. Brutal.
Yeah, it's blowing right in our faces here, so my face is starting to go a little bit numb. So number 18 at the plate.
Gil Martin, first pitch.
Nice strike right down the middle. Well, folks, you can guarantee if God wanted us to be cold, he wouldn't have invented remote start for our cars. So after this game, I'm going to be bolting to my car. Thankfully, I have remote start, so I'll be pretty warm in a couple hours. Gets away from DeMeo.
Actually, that last call, which we thought was a strike, which clearly seemed to be, was counted on the scoreboard as a ball, which makes the count 2-0 now.
Looked like the umpire did actually signal strike at one point there. I guess he was just signaling to the Danvers bench. Up high, ball 3.
That's a third ball. If Danvers walks this, that's a score.
So Gil Martin would not like to start off his afternoon with walking in a run on 4 pitches.
The tension is high. Gil Martin with the pitch. And it's a walk! Bringing the score 4-3 Peabody.
So they walk in a run. Peabody coach is at a bit of a crossroads here. He can't exactly get Eddie Campbell warming up in the bullpen because he is at third base. So that definitely means that the most likely pitching option is Joe Zito on the bench. He might be getting warmed up momentarily, number 23, the left-handed junior. Wouldn't be surprised if you see him get going unless Gil Martin can get out of this inning. There's still 2 outs. If Gil Martin can get out of this inning, he can safely get Campbell.
And that's a ball already. Danvers might be hoping for the unlikely yet still exciting possibility that they walk again, bring in another run.
Strike right down the middle. Heard that hit the leather of the catcher's glove.
That's a 1-1 count now. Gil Martin's first strike. And here's the pitch. Ooh.
Looks like that may have handcuffed him a little bit with a check swing like that. Might have gone off the inside of the handle of his bat. He's not playing with any gloves right now, so imagine if that ball was just a couple inches lower, he'd probably end up with broken fingers in this cold. And also, if not, he'd be in excruciating pain to even grip a bat. My fingers are tucked up inside my sleeves and they're frozen. As this pitch is a ball 2-2. My hands are tucked up in my sleeves right now holding this microphone, and I'm still cold.
Again, for people just tuning in, it is count 2-2. Bases loaded with 2 outs.
Pitch right down the middle, got him.
And that's a strikeout. Ending Danvers' little exciting run here.
So D'Angelo is still on the hook for a potential win if Peabody can hold or extend this lead. Gil Martin gets out of the inning, walks in a run, but it's still 4-3 Peabody. Looks like they're going to keep number 8 on the mound for Danvers. So the Tanners will come up. 4-3 lead, bottom of the 5th inning. So they'll keep the starter in the game.
Tanner's definitely hoping to extend this lead here.
I'm sure they'd feel more comfortable with the lead extension. As number 4, Jake Irvine, will lead off for the Tanners, followed by Gustin. And then I believe either Trevor Lodi or Joe Gil Martin. That is, if they kept Gil Martin in the game as a hitter. Once he went in the game, they may have replaced him in the lineup. I'm not sure. Because Campbell was originally, I believe, the designated hitter for the Tanners, so they'll probably have to put someone in that slot.
So far here in the bottom of the 5th inning, both teams have had the bases loaded at least once. That says a lot for the batting lineups here, but it makes you wonder if Peabody has an inning as successful as one of their earlier ones, if Danvers is going to put up a new pitcher, as Peabody just did with Gil Martin replacing D'Angelo.
As Irvine steps in, right-handed batter number 4, the center fielder.
Here's the pitch.
Line shot
right
to
out
short.
And that's an out.
Got him, guns him down at first. As Gustin will come up. It's not beyond Gustin to try to pop one over the right field scoreboard. He has the power to do it. He's one of the better all-around players I've seen. He can hit, he can run, he can field, he can throw. What most MLB scouts would call a 5-tool player, as he takes the ball down low.
Count 1-0. 1 out, bottom of the 5th. Tanner's at the plate.
Line shot, shortstop fields it. Fires across the diamond, he guns him down.
2 outs, both on flies to short.
So good contact by Gustin there. Just couldn't sneak it past the shortstop, as they will send, I believe that is Joe Gilmartin. He will stay in the lineup. So Gilmartin will step up. He is now the pitcher for the Tanners. Shot past the first baseman, right field base hit.
Gilmartin runs into first. He's looking for second.
Throw is low.
Gets second and stays.
So Gilmartin can not only pitch, he can hit, folks, as Campbell steps up. Nope, I apologize. That is DeMeo, number 44, the catcher for Peabody. So with 2 outs and a runner at second, DeMeo
Peabody
was called out at home last time to end the bottom of the 3rd inning.
with the pitch.
Popped
up. Way out into the trees. Peabody looking an opportunity here, right in the eyes, to extend this lead with count at 0-1, 2 outs, bottom of the 5th inning.
DeMeo looking to try to extend the Peabody lead. Looks like he's been a pull hitter so far. He can sling this one down the left field line.
Here's the pitch. And another foul, bringing the strike count to 2.
So after this, we'll enter the top half of the 6th inning. I assume we'll see Gilmartin back on the mound for Peabody.
I'm assuming Peabody may eventually look to Zito to close this game, but we'll see how things run. If Gilmartin has a nice run, then they might keep him on.
Well, it seems most likely that you'll see Zito, since they put Campbell at 3rd base. They moved him from DH to 3rd. I don't think they'll put him in the game likely. Grounded foul down the line into the fan section. Nice scoop by a fan there. Without a glove, his hands must be frozen right now, so I gotta say, that was actually pretty impressive, folks.
You can see the Peabody bench has emptied just a bit due to the cold, and we can see the same thing over here with Danvers. The wind just seems to pick up as the evening moves on. Certainly uncomfortable, but the fans that are still here have been here the whole game and are looking to watch a ball game.
You see the Danvers bench, they've got the starter jackets out. Peabody's got their windbreakers out, trying to do anything to keep out of the wind.
Here's the
Grounded, shortstop, fields the 3rd, and
First closes out the inning for Peabody.
So we go to the top half of the 6th inning. Still a 4-3 lead for the Peabody Tanners. I assume we'll see Gilmartin go back to the mound as the outfielders run out to their positions. Mullen, Irvine, and Martinez.
Starting the 6th inning here. Time is 5:37 p.m. About an hour and 37-minute game so far. Very productive for both teams, with Peabody maintaining only a 1-point lead now at the top of the 6th.
As you see the Danvers coach conferring with his players, he's got them all in a circle, trying to strategize before they go out for the 6th inning. Once you get into the 6th inning, it starts to get more and more dire situation with only a 1-run lead for the Tanners. They want to start getting quick innings out of their pitchers. Gil Martin will look to get out of this one easily.
Danvers knows they're certainly well within the margin of error for this point in the game, and they're really looking to surge past Peabody here and maybe take a win.
I'm sure Peabody would like to start off their season 2-0 right now. This is a much closer game than their opening game. They won 11-3 in their opening day game. Much closer. This is what makes baseball exciting, folks. Close games going into late innings. I know that many people probably think that baseball's rather slow sport. Some would consider it boring, but really, folks, it's a game that leaves you sitting on the edge of your seat. With every pitch, you don't know where that ball's going to go. It's going to be a strikeout, is it going to be a base hit, or is it going to go 20 feet over the left field fence? You just never know what's going to happen. That's why I love baseball so much. It leaves you sitting on the edge of your seat waiting to see what's going to happen. And also, you get into these late game situations, leaves you in anticipation, waiting for the next pitch. What's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen coming up next.
There's really a lot of play in a good baseball game, and it's what, puts baseball sort of in a league of its own compared to other sports. It's just the sheer level of strategy that goes into every single play.
Yeah, folks, it's not just one guy dressed wearing the same uniform as the rest of his players, putting 9 guys down on a piece of paper and sending them out on a field to try to hit a couple balls over a fence. No, there's a lot more strategy to it. Sometimes you put certain players in the lineup depending on pitch. Is the pitcher left-handed? Is he right-handed? What does he throw? Who do you start? What can you expect out of the other opponent's lineup? There is a lot more strategy to baseball than you think. And I think baseball is, it's America's pastime. It's one of the oldest games in America. And it's a game that has unified this country in times of crisis. World War II, obviously, you saw so many MLB players not only staying behind, a lot of them went to go fight overseas, and when they came back, they had some of the best seasons of their careers. Best example, Ted Williams of the Red Sox. He went and flew in World War II. He came back, he won a couple MVPs, and became the greatest hitter who ever lived. As Gil Martin goes into his windup. Popped up. Just over our head. That went very far. Avoided the tree somehow.
I always feel the need to duck out of the way as these balls come at us. Baseball really holds a special place in America's heart, as it's almost an exclusively American sport.
Now it's baseball founded in America, made its way overseas. A lot of baseball coming out like the places like the Dominican Republic and Cuba. Some of the best baseball players in the country come out of there. David Ortiz of the Red Sox, he came out of the Dominican Republic. Line shot in the right. Kazi will go over his head. Martinez will field it. And the runner will hold it first. Number 14 is on with a hit to right. It has influenced a lot of countries around the world. Baseball is one of the most popular sports in Latin America. Some of the finest baseball players in the country come out of that part of the world. Then you got times like, around times like September 11th, they canceled games for that whole week, and then they come back, and the Yankees are the talk of the league. First major championship to be held on U.S. soil after September 11th was the 2001 World Series, the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. That was a classic series right there, 7 games. Yankees won all their home games, Diamondbacks won all their home games.
And it's in events like that you really see unity between baseball players, with Boston really standing up and respecting their rivals. The same can be said for the Boston bombing. Here's a pitch.
Bunted in front of the plate, DeMayo down to get it, covering his cousin. He got him.
Just barely gets out before first.
But the runner advances, and they still have 1 out.
With events like the Boston bombing, you saw New York standing up to sweep Caroline. It really shows that events like this can really unify a sport that served to unify America for so long.
I remember that game, folks. That first game back for the Sox, I believe they played Kansas City. I was at that game. Daniel Nava, he came up, he popped one over the left field, over the monster, and put the Sox in the lead. Nava, most people don't remember him, but it's little moments like that in baseball. It's the little names that you remember sometimes. For little names and big moments, that game meant a lot. Obviously, remember David Ortiz's famous speech. We can't exactly say what he said on the air. I was at that game. I heard that thing live, but it's a game that has unified everyone in the country. And this one is grounded through the hole in left field. Here he comes. It gets past Martin.
Drives a runner home. Another moving from first to second. Oh!
This one is all tied up.
Danvers certainly getting what they wanted. 1 out, 1 runner on second, and a game tied up here at the 6th inning.
Got through the hole between Campbell and Gustin, and it got past the glove of Mullen in left. So it was a 4-4 game with only 1 out, and they still have a man in scoring position for Danvers.
Gilmartin staring intensely at the plate, getting ready for the pitch.
So a right-handed batter, number 7 up.
Here's the pitch.
Fouled
And
away.
it's fouled. Danvers' coach really getting into it, trying to bring this game from a tie to a lead for Danvers.
So 1 strike, 1 out in the top half of the 6th inning for the Danvers Falcons.
Come on with the pitch.
Low, ball 1.
1-1 count.
So I guess you can tell by some of the trash talk going on between these two teams, there's probably quite an intense rivalry between Danvers and Peabody. There's typically, in most sports, there's a rivalry between Peabody and Danvers. They're right next to each other on the map.
Here's the pitch.
Takes a strike.
Count is 1-2.
You know, you got rivalries in this league, you got rivalries in the MLB, most notably you got the Sox and you got the Yankees. One of the oldest rivalries in the sport. There's so many instances of heat between those two teams.
And that's a rivalry that's lasted, you know, a century.
Takes the ball down low. Began with, oh yeah, that's right. I believe 100 years this year, 100 years ago, the Sox sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, and that began the so-called curse of the Bambino. Sox didn't win another World Series for another 86 years. It's 2018. And that will be ruled a ball, 3-2, full count.
Danvers probably looking to walk this, put a man on first and a man on second.
Well, in terms of strategy, I'm sure Peabody wouldn't mind that. You get runners on base, and they can probably try to force a double play perhaps at second and first, or maybe get a force out at third.
Grounded.
Gustin will take a look at third. He goes to Glody.
Runner out at first. That also puts Danvers with a runner on third now, looking to run home.
So this will be a pivotal moment here in this ball game. In the top of the 6th, 2 out, runner at third. As DeMeo goes out to the mound to confer with Gilmartin.
Brief moment of conversation between a pitcher and catcher. Always a necessary conversation. Got to keep communication between those two pivotal roles. Here's the pitch.
Up high, he backs number 1 off the plate a little bit there. Ball 1.
Gilmartin showing some ferocity here in his pitches.
He's not afraid to go right at these batters.
Here's the pitch. Again, backing the pitcher off the plate.
When you got a guy in the lineup who crowds the
Excuse me,
plate,
the
you
batter.
want to back him up off the plate. So what do? You got to pitch him inside a little bit. You never want to hit him, but you just try to back him up off the plate a little bit, make him think a little bit. Up high again. Ball 3. So, you know, baseball, it's not only a physical exercise, it's not only a game of strategy, it's a mental game. You want to get in the opponent's head early on. You want to, you know, he crowds the plate, you want to back him up off the plate, you throw a couple pitches inside.
Here's the pitch.
Takes a strike.
This time it's a strike. Gilmartin just a moment ago throwing 3 almost identical pitches up high, almost directly at the batter. Here's the pitch. And it's a walk.
He's a relatively short batter, so that strike zone is probably a little bit smaller on him. So at the corners, number 10 coming up for Danvers.
Gilmartin throwing with consistency there, though. Probably not a consistency he was hoping for. Getting 4 balls and only 1 striking on this batter.
As the coach will go to the mound to talk it over with Gilmartin.
Peabody's pitching game starting off decent, if not well, but toward the end of the game, I don't know if it's the cold or if it's just Danvers' ferocity, but it's really seeming to get to them. Peabody's coach is moving out to the mound a number of times to confer with the pitchers, try to make sure that everything's cleaned up and that the game runs smoothly for the defense.
As the runners also come off the bases to talk it over, try to strategize. We'll I wouldn't be surprised, quite honestly, if you see number 1 at first base, if he tries to take second, maybe try to throw from DeMeo. Because, once that ball leaves his hand, that third base runner, he'll be taken off for the plate. It's a game of strategy. It's a physical game. It's a mental game. It's a strategic game. So, folks, it's one of those times where you wish you were. Sometimes I guess you wish you were at the Kiley Field, down by the old Kiley School, because they have a booth up there where we would likely be up in, sheltered from the wind. But I believe I actually thought that's where the game was originally going to be. I didn't know it was going to be up here. I actually honestly can say that for my 4 years at Peabody High School, I don't think I knew that this field was used for actual pro games.
It's certainly comparable to Peabody's excellent turf field. It really doesn't. These fields don't compare. It's sort of a shame. But recently it was announced that Peabody may be looking to do renovations to the upper fields.
That's right. Oh, throw over. Almost got him, though. So I heard they might be doing renovations, might be getting a new softball field, might be getting a new baseball field. I heard the softball field might be a turf field. I'm sure that they'd really be appreciative of that. Girls softball team this year, they could possibly be off to a good start. I believe they just won their opener 7-6 on a walk-off hit in the 7th inning. Comeback win. Runner goes. They will not draw a throw from DeMeo, as he knows just well. The second that ball leaves his hand, runner at third is going to be taken off for the plate to try to take the lead.
Runner at first moves to second. So there's a runner at second and a runner in third with 2 outs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Danvers trying to take the lead here. And it's a ground. Cuzzy misses it. And
Can't get it. It goes wide into the dugout. The runner will be awarded second. Danvers takes a
6-4 lead.
Actually, I believe it's a 5-4 lead. I don't know if the scoreboard guy may have messed up on that.
Didn't
I think only 1 run scored.
No, runner at third and runner at second both made it home.
Oh, okay then. Well, I guess since the ball went into the dugout, 2 runners will be awarded runs. So it is a 6-4 game here.
Danvers certainly making the progress they had hoped to at the start of this inning. You can see it in their bench. Jumping around, certainly very excited. Peabody definitely strategizing now, seeing if they can take this back towards the end of the game.
So at the moment, Gil Martin is on the hook for the loss if he can't get out of this, and if the Tanners can't get out of the inning. If they can't get any runs to take the lead, Gil Martin will likely be credited with the loss.
The Danvers bench very loud now, very, very rowdy. Certainly into this game, into their newfound lead. Gil Martin with the pitch.
Second ball in the dirt. DeMeo lost track of it. Throw down. Safe at third.
Danvers
Runner
now.
advances to third.
Danvers close to yet another run, potentially bringing this lead to 7-4. It'll start to look grim for Peabody if that actually does occur. Count is 2-0. Gil Martin has walked a number of times. Here's the pitch. Way out.
Looked like he may have been trying to lay down a bunt on that one, but they're saying he pulled it back, so it will be ball 3-0.
Certainly looking for a walk now, although that would put Peabody in an opportunity to make a double play.
Here's the pitch from Gil Martin, 3-0.
Way out! So that's another runner home. Runner to second base now.
Throw in.
Slides.
Safe. 7-4 Danvers.
And Danvers holds a runner on second now, sliding in safe. Gil Martin trying to see if he can stop their progress. Danvers held it 2 outs for quite some time now, made massive progress.
When you get a ball in the gap in left center or right center, it is always going to play to run.
Catcher just went out, talked to Gil Martin for a second. Trying to keep that communication nice and tight.
This will likely be the last inning you see Gil Martin in. He's given up I believe he's actually given up 4 or 5 runs so far. I think he either came in with a 4-2 or 4-3 lead. I think he came in with a 4-2 lead. He's given up 5.
Here's Gil Martin
Here's the pitch
with
from
the
Gil
pitch.
Martin. Popped up.
Popped up.
High in foul territory. Lodi over to get it. Can't get there.
Count at 0-2 now.
So 0-2 count.
If Gil Martin can draw in 3 strikes here, that'll end this very productive inning for Danvers.
Very damaging for the Tanners at the moment.
After that, the Tanners will be looking to do damage control, see if they can take their lead back with some ferocity that they showed earlier on in the game. Here's Gil Martin.
I don't think this game will be over at 6:30 like we predicted, folks. Oh, almost a strike. 1-2 to number 18 of Danvers.
Danvers absolutely rowdy on the bench. Here's Gil Martin with the pitch. Line drive out
field,
to left.
Way back.
And it's caught for a fly out.
As Irvine raced over to get it. Proportions in this park looked like for a second it was going to go up, but then it just started to drop.
Peabody now taking the bat at the bottom of the 6th inning, looking to do some serious damage control after an inning which can be said as no less than very productive for Danvers. Very damaging to Peabody.
Leaving number 8 in the game on the mound. He's got a 3-run cushion to work with now, so this may be the last inning of steam. I'm not quite sure though. It depends on who they if they get someone ready in the pen.
It's worth noting Peabody has gotten 4 runs against him so far, so that they do know that they're able to make progress against this pitcher. And I think they're hoping to repeat what they did earlier on in the game.
I wouldn't be surprised right now. I believe Campbell is due up, so if it's a 1-2-3 inning, I wouldn't be surprised if at the moment you see Joe Zito perhaps get ready in the pen for the Tanners. If Gil Martin gave up the lead. I would be very surprised if we see him go out for the 7th inning at the moment, folks.
The Tanners know they need a strong closer. Their defense needs to be strong toward the end of this game if they're going to prevent Danvers from bringing that lead any further, which at that point could even be considered irreparable.
As Campbell will come up to the plate. He took over for Cuzzy at 3rd as Cuzzy shifted to 2nd for Gil Martin, who went in to pitch for the Tanners. Some Tanners are probably just looking for a way to get on base right now and just play small ball. Sometimes the small ball game is the way to go.
Lot of pressure on Campbell right now as he starts the inning.
Campbell, right-handed junior.
Pitcher for Danvers. In with the pitch.
Up high, way wide, gets away from the catcher, number 14.
And it's a ball. A promising start.
So Campbell into the windup. Line shot in the right. It might fall, but it will be foul.
Count is 1-1. No outs here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Score is 7-4 Danvers after a very productive first half of this 6th inning.
Looks like they might be getting looks like Danvers might be right down below us, might be getting a right-handed pitcher ready to come in after this inning. Here's the pitch.
Wind picking up. Pulling in a nice strike for Danvers. Wind is absolutely blowing like wild there in a wild gust.
Wind was timed perfectly with that pitch there, as it is a 1-2 count to Campbell.
People here, Danvers fans, bundling up.
Ball 2-2.
Really feeling the cold, you can tell on both sides. Both fan sections seeming to empty out a little bit as the game goes on. I can't blame them, it's quite cold. Here's the pitch.
Campbell grounds it to 2nd. Second baseman up with it.
To
Easy
first.
flip.
1 out.
Lodi coming to the plate, number 10, the first baseman of the Tanners.
Danvers already doing exactly what they want to here, preventing Peabody from taking back that lead. But most of Danvers' progress in the last inning was made with 2 outs on the board, so we certainly can't count Peabody out just yet. Here's the pitch.
Up high, ball 1.
Absolutely frigid. You can feel it from head to toe. Here's the pitch.
Ball 2, 2-0 to Trevor Lodi. Lodi would like to get on base with 1 out here. 2 balls and no strikes to the senior first baseman of the Tanners. Just trying to get on base. Down low, 3-0.
Starting to look like one of Gil Martin's earlier runs in this last inning.
So 3-out count to Lodi. He would like to get on base, but I'm sure also he would like to pop him over the left field fence. But I'm sure he'll settle for just trying to get on base.
Here's the pitch.
Takes a pitch down the middle, strike 1. So it looks like Danvers is getting a reliever warmed up in the pen.
3-1, still
Just
a
trying
perfect opportunity for Peabody to walk.
I'm over here standing behind a tree just trying to stay out of the wind at the moment, folks. Pitch down low, he walked him.
Starting to look like the start to Danvers' last inning.
So they'll send Mullen to the plate, the left fielder. He's wanting to let a ball go by him that plated at maybe an extra run than was expected earlier in this game, last inning. So Mullen, number 6, the left fielder.
Those on the Danvers bench starting to put on their jackets, showing just how cold it is.
So this is a season that is going to be one of challenge for the Tanners. A lot of the senior veterans that they had last year left this past season. I believe Will Diesman, I believe he was one of their players last year. I believe he left for college. Many more notable names. Grounded into left field, base hit. So it's first and second with 1 out.
Very promising here for Peabody. Kind of what they wanted, I'd suppose.
As Martinez will come to the plate, the tying run will step up. Right fielder, Mike Martinez. As a warm-up pitch goes a little wild from the pitcher right down below us.
You can see in the Peabody bench, Peabody knows they have an opportunity here to tie this game back up. Leaning in.
So here's the pitch from number 8 to, so it's
number
low. 8 to number 8. That's the pitching to hitter match right now. Pitcher versus Mike Martinez, senior right fielder. Here's
Danvers.
Popped up.
High into center field, and it's caught for a fly out.
But the runners will hold at their respective bases. Martinez is now 0 for 3. Cuzzy will step up. Prime situation. 0 and 2 outs. Tying run still at the plate.
Danvers finishes up warming up what appears to be a reliever. Here's the pitch. And it's popped up behind for a clear foul.
Lost track of it. That will go into the woods behind the Danvers dugout. So 0-1 the count to Cuzzy. After this, we'll go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Down low, catcher blocks it, runner goes. Will not draw a throw, both runners advance. 2 men in scoring position. Cuzzy just trying to probably get this one on the ground, get one into the holes. Just hopefully just trying to get something on the board for the Tanners. It's 7-4 still here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Count is 1-1 with 2 outs.
It's getting very, very chilly here in Peabody, Mass.
Almost unbearable with the layers of clothing, at least that I'm wearing.
As the coach goes out to confer with his pitcher.
If you look at the fans out across the field, you can see red-faced, wrapped in blankets, certainly feeling this cold. Hoods are up, hats are on. It's certainly a very, very chilly April day. I mean, it's worth noting here for April 11th, cold like this is unusual for a start of a baseball season. Baseball is a sport usually played in the sun, not conditions like this, so it's quite interesting to see.
Although granted, in New England, the weather is rather unpredictable sometimes, so...
That, of course, should be said. Danvers with
Cuzzy with a 1-1 count.
the pitch.
Up high, 2-1. Cuzzy being very patient thus far.
Peabody seeing potential here to fill the bases, putting them in a situation identical to Danvers last inning.
Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 2.
Count is 2-2 with, again, 2 outs. And Danvers leading 7-4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Danvers knows the importance of this pitch. Here it is.
Grounded, back to the pitcher, jumping it and spinning it out of the air. Inning is over.
Ending it. Any chance, at least this inning, for Peabody to tie it back up or take the lead. Danvers conferencing here, getting ready for the next inning.
Top half of the 7th inning coming up for Danvers.
Now this is Danvers' real opportunity to bring this past any point of return for Peabody, to really close out the game here, to drive this home.
I'm sure they'd really like, and it looks like you're going to see Gil Martin is still on the mound despite giving up the big lead for the Tanners.
A surprising choice, but the Tanner seems confident in his ability to keep the game, or rather to bring the game into a more positive position for the Tanners.
He'd like a quick inning out of this one, folks. Just maybe a 1-2-3 inning. Hopefully they'll settle Gil Martin down. I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last inning. But then again, folks, I did say that last inning, so you never know what's going to happen. Never know what's going through the minds of coaches. They're always strategizing.
We just saw a long 6th inning. It was about 35-40 minutes. If we see a repeat of this time around, then this game could stretch well past 6:30 into 7 o'clock. A long 9-inning baseball game.
Well, Zach, I mean, it goes a little past 6:30, you know what it means? It means we get to log more hours for our game call right now.
I suppose that is what it means. At least at a base level for us. For everyone else, it means they have to sit out in the cold, and it is chilly. And as the sun starts to descend, so does the temperature. It's getting colder, and the baseball game is getting even more intense. You can see the batter at home plate keeping his hands in his pockets, understanding just how cold it is.
Zach, you are really starting to get into this game. I'll give you that. That is admirable there. I'll admit something, folks. I didn't exactly get assigned this game. I picked to come out here. I love this job. It's something I want to do for a living. My goal is to be a pro sports announcer one day. As the batter takes a strike from Gil Martin, in conditions like this, it's just something that comes with the territory, I guess. You volunteer to be out here, regardless of the pay. If they wanted me to be out here, I probably would be. I
really need to speak to Bernie's professionalism. He really is great at what he does. He memorizes Peabody's rosters every time. He really knows where he's coming from, and he delivers an absolutely fantastic call of the game every time around.
Well, thank you very much, Zach. I want to say you're doing a very good job so far. That little, you got very enthusiastic there for a couple minutes there. You're really coming into your own with your broadcasting skills. And gotta mention, folks, he's not only got broadcasting, he's also doing the camera work right now. He's got a microphone tied to the camera stand right now. He's just calling into that. Pitches inside, ball 2.
It may just be enthusiasm drawn by the cold.
Well, yeah, you gotta try to stay warm. Try to jump around a little bit. Maybe try to raise your voice a little. Get really enthusiastic. Get into it. It keeps your body heat up a little bit. As Gilmartin walks the batter. And we'll have one on with no one out.
This is maybe the third or fourth time Gilmartin has walked a batter this afternoon. It's interesting that they're keeping him on the mound.
They'll probably start considering getting someone ready in the pen, and my guess is it would likely be Zito. Because Zito is remaining on the bench right now. Campbell's at third. Campbell hasn't warmed up in quite some time. Takes a pitch down low, strike one.
Clean strike right down the middle of the box. Score is 7 for Danvers, for those of you just tuning in here at the top of the 7th inning.
So after this, we'll get to the 7th inning stretch. However, I don't think this is quite like Fenway, so we won't be hearing Sweet Caroline. And with my singing skills, I will likely not be singing Sweet Caroline this upcoming stretch.
The same can certainly be said for myself.
My mother always says one of her favorite singers is the man who composed the song himself, Neil Diamond, but don't say it. She always said, I love the song, but Bern, please don't sing it. You can't sing. You know what? I agree with her. You will not be hearing me sing.
Looks like a potential injury here to the runner at first base, but he's standing up and brushing it off.
Well, it looks like maybe when he dove back, he might just jammed his finger on the bag. I'm guessing he's all right. He's up and he's moving. He's moving his hands. I'm guessing just with the cold, his fingers are frozen. So I'm guessing that he just dove back and hit his hand. It just hurts, stings a little bit. Throw a little dirt on it. He'll be fine. He'll be back out there. He's taking his lead off of first. Gilmartin with the pitch. Down low, ball 2-1.
I think it's admirable that Peabody maintains such a high level of confidence for Gilmartin. He certainly must be, at least outside of this, which may not have been the most positive experience, a quality pitcher. Here's the
grounded foul down the left side of the infield, goes to the Peabody dugout.
Brings the count to 2-2.
But yeah, added to your point, yeah, you're right. They must have a tremendous confidence in Gilmartin. He was part of that. I believe he pitched in that 13 strikeout game on the opening night for the Tanners. Sometimes you just have an off night. You can't be perfect in every single game. I don't think I've ever seen a starter. As this one gets away, number 6 will walk in a second, standing up.
Full
3
count.
balls, 2 strikes. I don't think I've ever seen a full season starter ever pitch a game without losing a single game. Best single season pitching performance arguably can be in any level, probably 1968. Yes, folks, I'm 18 years old, but yes, I do know my baseball history. 1968 is often considered the year of the pitcher in baseball. Grounded to short, Gustin fields it, fires down, they got him, 1 out, but the runner gets to third.
I mean, you really can't judge a pitcher just on one game, and Gilmartin really must have shown in the past here that he is a quality pitcher.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. And like I was saying before, 1968, year of the pitcher, they last year that the mound was elevated up to the height that it was. It was a World Series that year between the St. Louis Cardinals and Detroit Tigers. They had both Cy Young winners of their respective leagues. Bob Gibson of the Cardinals, that one is in the
high,
right.
off
Martinez
to
going
right.
get it, foul. As I was saying, as that one goes foul, Martinez throws it back in. That year, Cardinals pitcher Bob Gibson in 120 games. He has still standing record for lowest ERA in baseball history for a single season starter, 1.12. And on the other side of the field for the Detroit Tigers was Denny McClain. He set the record for the most wins by a starting pitcher in a regular season. He won 31 games for the Tigers that year.
I must say, Bernie, you sure know more about this than I ever will.
As that throw over to third gets away, and they will be awarded a run. 8-4.
Danvers doubling Peabody's score here.
Lead is double the Tanner offense right now. And yes, that is correct, Zach. I don't know how I know all this baseball history. I doubt she'll ever watch it, but I had a 5th grade teacher. She always kept a big book. It was a big baseball encyclopedia book in her classroom, and I always used to be, she always used to have us sign out the book every week, and we'd have to return it by the end of the week. I guess you could say I was always jumping on the list to take that book. I always loved reading about every record that was set, every big moment that was set. whether it dated back to the 20s of baseball, the dead ball era, or up to currently the 2000s to, the big home run races that you see these days. That one's popped up. I believe it is in our general direction, goes into the woods deep behind us.
Count as 1-2.
But yeah, I'll credit my 5th grade teacher with allowing me to read on baseball so much for how I know so much about the history of the game and for my passion for the game of baseball. And he got him looking on strikes.
Well, Bernie, I just got to say, from that one hockey game that I filmed with you before, I was immediately impressed just by your ability to do this. Folks, I wouldn't be surprised if in the future you hear Bernard Parisi calling actual professional sports games.
Well, thank you so much for that one, Zach. That is a goal of mine. I will be attending. That one's a line shot into center. Going back is the right fielder. Can't get it. He dives and gets by him. Into second goes number 4 of Danvers. Martinez throws it in. Cuzzy digs it out. But with 2 out, we have a man on second
celebration from Danvers on second. Certainly excited to continue Danvers' just forward momentum here.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Zach, I will be attending Merrimack College this upcoming fall. I will be majoring in communication and media, hoping to actually get into the world of sports broadcasting one day. I always wanted to be either a hockey announcer or a baseball announcer. In my opinion, they're just 2 of the greatest sports out there. Hockey is very understated. It's a very graceful sport. Speed base. This one skied into center or into shallow right. Martinez gets it. And the inning is over, so they get out of it with 1 run on an errant throw to third. They award the run to Danvers. So it's 8-4 going to the 7th inning stretch. As we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, Tanner's coming up. And leading off for Peabody, I believe it will be Jake Irvine. So it's a great in baseball. It's a game that not many people find very popular anymore. However, with the fan base that it has, they are very passionate about their game. It is America's pastime, folks. It really is. It's a great game to watch. Number 8 staying in the game for Danvers going into the 7th inning. He's got a 4-run cushion to work with now.
I was never that big into sports growing up, but I come from a family of pretty massive baseball fans. My grandmother was a Boston fan ever since the Boston Braves were in town, and
oh wow.
She kept me watching
Braves.
baseball growing up, so that's where my very limited knowledge of the sport comes from.
Well, I grew up in a family that, they grew up, the 50s and the 60s and 70s. Some of them grew up watching the tail end of Ted Williams' career with the Sox. My dad, he grew up, he was in the impossible dream season in 1967 for the Red Sox. My dad was 6. The season Sox, they finished almost last in the American League the year before. Then they go magic run led by, Carl Yastrzemski, the great Triple Crown winner of the Sox. They go to the World Series that year. And, other sports, my dad, my whole family, they grew up watching, the big bad Bruins of the 70s, Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, Derek Sanderson, all those guys, the big brawlers, the Lunch Pail Athletic Club group, as they were called in the late 70s. Always went in there, they punched in at 7:30 and they didn't stop going until 10. They love to fight everyone. And, for this generation right here, 18 years, 17 years, they grew up in the right time. Patriots have won all of their Super Bowls in our lifetime. I was born in 1999. The Pats won their first Super Bowl in 2001. As the pitch to Irvine is inside, ball 1. So we kind of grew up at a perfect time. Pats started winning Super Bowls. The Red Sox have got 3 world championships. They broke the 86-year curse of the Bambino. Strike 1 to Irvine. The Celtics even picked up a championship in 2008. The Bruins got one in 2011. They're currently heavy contenders, 50 wins on the year for the Stanley Cup. Sox going into this season, they're heavy contenders for the World Series. The Celtics are big-time contenders for the NBA championship. Boston really is, if you want to be a sports fan, Boston or Massachusetts in general, it's the perfect state to live in. It's the city of champions. They have so many championship banners, championship trophies have come to this this glorious town, this glorious city, this glorious state. Everywhere you look, you're surrounded by sports. As the pitch to Irvine. That one is lined. Caught by the third baseman. That may have gone foul had it gotten past him, but he spears it out of the air as Gustin will step to the plate for the Tanners. Gustin, he has a hit so far, I believe. Or he might have been hit by a pitch, I believe, earlier, and I think he's 0 for 2 otherwise. So Gustin, number 7, left-handed batter.
And just to clarify, Bernie, Gustin is attending college on a baseball scholarship?
Yes, he will be attending Bryant University. I believe they're actually a Division I baseball school on a baseball scholarship. You know, I've known Jake. I went to elementary school with him. The Captain Samuel Brown Elementary School. He's been a tremendous baseball player since the day I've known him. He's kind of on a fast track. This one's grounded down the line. Fair ball down the right field line. Gustin will chug for second. No, he will stop part way, and he will scramble back to first. So Gustin is on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th inning. But that's right, folks. As long as I've known him, he's been a tremendous baseball player. He's always aspired to be in the pros. He also plays for the Peabody Tanners boys basketball team. He's a tremendous basketball player as well, but you know, he's always aspired to be in the major leagues, I believe. That's what he'll be attending college on a scholarship. I wouldn't be surprised if in 4 years' time, 4 or 5 years, you might see him as, you know, the next Rookie of the Year in the major leagues in either the American or National League. Takes a ball outside. That is Gil Martin, I believe, the number 4 hitter, also the pitcher. He got out of last inning, only 1 run allowed. And you can't really blame him for that miscue. It was an errant throw over to third. Pitch grounded to the left side. Tough play. Safe at first.
Safe and second. First and second. That's worth noting. Gustin makes it to second clean.
Gustin had to jump on that one. The shortstop took a look at second to see if he could get Gustin, decided he couldn't. And maybe that quick hesitation was the deciding factor that Gil Martin needed to get to first base. So 1 out, 2 on, 8-4 game. DeMayo up. So DeMayo, he will be attending.
Pitch.
Fouled away. He will be attending college, I believe, on a football scholarship. He is one of the star running backs for the Peabody Tanners. He came in highly touted, and he's been really one of the focal points of the Tanner offense, along with Noah Friedman, another senior running back, especially this season when you got a sophomore signal caller under center in Colby Therian. Grounded down the line. Foul ball. One thing to note about a lot of the players that I've known for a long time on this Tanner team, they're overall not only just great ball players, they're overall just really good people. They're really nice. You know, they're some of the best friends that you could ask for. They're very kind. They're very nice to everyone. I believe, you know, senior yearbook, I think Jake Gustin just won best all-around boy. Actually, just one of the nicest guys ever. One of the best athletes, you know, that's come through Peabody in many years. Once in a lifetime ball player, if you ask me. The pitch popped up. Looks like he was reaching out for that one. First baseman is there for it. Gets the out. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, with Campbell coming up for the Tanners. So we will go to the top of the 8th after this. For Danvers, they're hoping to for them, it means they're hoping to cling to their 4-run lead and possibly extend it. For the Tanners, it means they're also trying to claw back from their 4-run deficit. For a lot of the fans here, and for maybe even some of the players, it means closer we get to having to go inside. It's very cold, very cold afternoon here so far.
For those of you wondering, it's about 39 degrees right now with a wind chill bringing it down to about 28. Very chilly April day.
Well, yeah, folks, even if this was Fenway, it would still be packed. You know,
absolutely.
You know, the fans, you know, baseball fans in Massachusetts, they're some of the most passionate of all time. This one is lined foul over the dugout. Baseball is one of the most even though some people consider it it's a slow sport. Some people would even call it boring. The fan base that follow it, they're very passionate fans. Boston Red Sox, I have the history to prove it. Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, all those guys. David Ortiz, got him looking.
An easy end to the inning.
Actually, I believe that will be the end of the game, it appears.
Oh, the game. An end to the game.
I did not know that this game only goes 7 innings, folks.
There it is. Danvers winning it 8-4.
So it was a big explosion off of Joe Gilmartin, off of the right arm of Joe Gilmartin. The Danvers Falcons come back. They come back from down 4-1. They have a big 7-run outburst, and they win this game 8-4. So the Tanners' home opener unfortunately ends in a 8-4 loss. I'm sure they'll be right back at them next game. This is a team that these are two teams that you can never count out. The Tanner team has stocked with young talent and veteran talent, good mix of both. This game will be on the Peabody TV. For most of you, it will be channel 8 locally, and also be on the Peabody Access TV YouTube channel once this game is edited and put online. I'm Bernard Parisi.
I'm Zach Stark.
And that is all from the John E. Bezemes Baseball Diamond at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. We will see you next time on Peabody TV with Tanner Baseball.